do my hood videos, people are always asking me, like, are you afraid of the hood? I'm like, I'm afraid of crashing in the rain. That's what really scares me. You're usually safe unless you're doing something stupid like recording videos for YouTube through a neighborhood or something like that.
Turn right onto West Beaver Street. Continue on West Beaver Street for 1 mile.
I got it.
Head west on West Beaver Street toward Cone Street, then turn right onto Cone Street. Turn right onto Ducat Street, then turn right onto Baker Avenue.
Side view, but it's super dangerous. What do you think?
No, don't do side.
Do side view?
No.
Try it out just in case. And actually, knowing Jacksonville, I might even have to stake out and not even a handgun. They've been going crazy out here. We gotta stop somewhere safe so we can get both of them out. We gotta have to stake out too. It's been crazy. They've been shooting back and forth between the north and the south side. Some crazy stuff's going on here. Like, I mean, it's savage. Like, the violence in this neighborhood is just insane. Like, all of Jacksonville. To admit if you're white. They got stuff going on. This ain't like we gotta get this one out somehow. Park somewhere with nobody around. This is cool. Jacksonville's much more dangerous than it may not be dangerous by like stuff that happens, but by neighborhood it's really hot right now. Yeah, lemon peppers. Like in Miami?
Yeah. Fish and chicken.
Car behind us has spinners. I ain't seen that in a while.
Cool.
Yeah. CD player. Like, what the crap is making those noises? Up over there. What the crap? You saw that car ended up? Why is this guy turning on? No. Right here. He got scared. He's lost. He was scared to come through here. New York license plate there? California. California had an orange license plate. What's that, a tree fall right there? Maybe they just had a tornado come through here. That's a big tree down. Hear the emergency crews and stuff? Maybe they just had a tornado come through here. Look down that way, see if you see a tornado damage. That's a big tree that just fell. Nothing?
Doesn't look like anything got real damage. I mean, there's some trees missing leaves, but
that car, I don't know what made that car do that, but it went right through that fence, man. Right through the fence. Yeah, there was a tornado come through here. Alright, I gotta back up. It was definitely a tornado come through here. What's up with my what do you call this?
no.
Until you pull out, buddy, I can't leave. You gotta go. There's definitely a tornado come through. Look at all these trees down on both sides. That car just went flying into the trees. Yeah, there had a tornado come through here. Look at all the trees down right here.
Yeah.
They might have had a tornado come through here. This way. It's hot back in here. Spin it around once and twice and stuff. Let's get out of here. Let's move up out of here. This neighborhood is hot. Let's see which way they're going. I'm glad we didn't end up in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Remember that house that fell through? Yeah, everything went out good. Like Miami kind of picked up and landed over here. Or something like that. Largest city in Florida. Alright, everybody, so now we're going to take a ride down to Moncrief, which is the most known neighborhood in the city. The whole Duval County is Jacksonville city limits. So that lowers the crime rate and the murder rate. All that is lowered by the fact that the whole county is part of city limits. Whereas Birmingham, Alabama, only like the real city core is city limits. If the city core of Jacksonville was city limits like Birmingham is, the murder rate in Birmingham would be less than Jacksonville. So do not assume that simply because the murder rate on paper in Birmingham is higher, that all the way around Birmingham is a more dangerous city. The difference being that here in Jacksonville, the whole Duval County is city limits. Imagine if all of Jefferson County and Shelby County, which would equal out in population, right? If all Shelby and all Jefferson County were part of Birmingham city limits, the murder rate would be insignificant. But as far as like city cores, Jacksonville is much more dangerous, especially right now. But if you were just to like kind of like, and I say dangerous, I mean dangerous to me and you, the outsider, because you got internal conflicts between neighborhoods, and if you're not part of that, it's usually not going to affect you if you're not part of that. Like, there's stuff going on in neighborhoods that
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto the I-95 North Ramp.
if you're an outsider, it's really not going to affect you at all. You then there's no reason for it to affect you as an outsider.
Onto Beaverson Street.
Yeah, because like every neighborhood's got its own little neighborhood things going on, and if you're coming through as an outsider, it doesn't really affect you, you know.
In a quarter mile, turn
Whatever
right
they
on
got
Kings
going on,
Road.
whatever they got going on in the neighborhood, you know, you're kind of an outsider to it. It's not gonna affect you if you're driving through. And there's places where if you're an outsider, you know, you're more like Miami, for example. Miami's a place where people are familiar with tourists. It's a normal thing. They're used to it.
Mini Street, then turn right onto Mini Street.
But it used to
Turn
not
right
be
onto
that
Mini
way too
Street.
in Miami. Miami used to have a fame for kind of trying to like victimize people a lot back in like the 70s and 80s. But nowadays they're used to tourists in Miami. Like if you're an outsider in Miami, like they know that you're a tourist. They can see you, whatever, they're used to it. But like in Birmingham, Alabama,
Unknown caller.
they're just not used to it. But every city is different. You know, Miami, it's a big city. You know what I mean? Like it's got good areas, it's got bad areas, and they're used to tourists. Like even in Miami, even like the absolute worst parts of Miami, they're accustomed to tourists, completely used to it. I seen this on Charlie Boo's video right here. All this stuff right here looks pretty good. Like Miami, they're really used to it. You know, it's a common thing in Miami. Like tourists driving around and stuff. Even in like Liberty City, they see you in a place like that and they know you're a tourist. But then like Birmingham, nobody goes to Birmingham like unless you're from there. So when they see you an outsider there, they're more worried of it. So every place is different. Like it's who's dangerous, but to who, you know. Your own people will be more likely to be dangerous to you than others. You know, like sometimes, like if you're in a neighborhood and everybody else in that neighborhood's like you, then don't even think twice about taking you out. But if they can tell you're an outsider, they might victimize you with small stuff. They might steal from you or whatever, but they won't do something big to you because they know that it would bring attention from outside the neighborhood. So there's a lot of complex crap that goes into, you know, how dangerous a place is for you in particular. There's a lot to it. It's not a clear-cut thing. This neighborhood's dangerous. That neighborhood's dangerous. Because like I've been to places in Montgomery, Alabama that are super dangerous. And if I'm in my work truck working for somebody, like you're fine. You know, like it's super dangerous if you're there on a Friday night in a sports car. You know what I mean? But if you're there in a work truck on a weekday, it's not at all dangerous. In fact, you might actually be safer there because you're an outsider. Because they don't, you know, it's a weird, complex thing. You know, so sometimes what is dangerous to one person is not to the next. It ain't right, but it's like that. They react based on what they've been taught to do. So there's not really a whole lot of thought process into making a decision. If they see somebody recording, they got, oh, camera, this guy's recording, whatever they're supposed to do. Because what happens is, let's say I drive through a neighborhood with a camera, and somebody is, you know, it could be an older person, whatever. It has money that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They're just there, and they say, you know, they see me drive by with a camera, and they don't notice it. Well, they notice it, but they don't say nothing. Somebody else, like, you know, somebody from that neighborhood that's older could be like, yo, you didn't see this person come through with a camera? Oh, I did. Why didn't you say nothing? Oh, you're not warning us. You're not looking out for us. So now you driving through that neighborhood just got somebody in trouble that, you know, you just caused a problem for somebody else just by your presence. Look how they did the marble on the outside of the house. Remember in Naples we were thinking about doing that?
Yeah.
To the trailer we had?
Yeah.
I wonder if we could do that to the bottom of our house. Hood watch.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of neighborhood watch, it's just hood watch. I'm doing this. Then like always, there's always like some type of apartment complex that doesn't really look too bad. This intersection, for example. How many cameras do you see? Where are they at?
You see the light post, like right on
top, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And or some of the neighborhoods we go to, like in Fort Myers, that girl's like, "Why you got a camera?" And there was like 4 giant cameras over her head,
Yeah.
literally, that are fixed there. And the reason they're fixed there is because the cops already know as a trap spot forever. That's just now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I don't know. It just blows my mind how people like really don't have, like, really, somebody's recording and the first thing they think is a cop. Really? It's not a YouTuber. It's not somebody who's just doing it recreationally.
I can tell you right now, the police are not dumb. They're not gonna make it obvious.
Yeah. They're gonna make it that obvious. Like, that car right there looks like a police car.
Yeah.
But they're not. They might be. I don't know who it is. Like that, the Yukon right there looks like a police car.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really wanted to go undercover, it would be a bad option. Like, well, it was in a real bad neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was in a real hot spot. Basically, one of the top properties that we had when we moved from South Florida was a property right here in Jacksonville that was on the market for a long time for, what was it, $70,000?
Mm-hmm.
And we called them up. 70 or 65? It was 65,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How much was it? Do you remember?
It was around there.
Yeah, it was a ridiculously low number. And the house had been on the market for forever, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And I finally called the person and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go see the house Friday, or whatever. Yeah, Friday." I don't know where the guy decides to go up. How much? $20,000.
Yeah.
So this property had been on the market forever. No offers, no interest. Finally, I called him and I said, "Hey, I'm interested in this property. I want to go look at it." All of a sudden, like this, he decided to go up $20,000. I'm like, okay, well, I decided to go buy something else. It's that simple.
Yeah.
There's cops up ahead and ambulances and people in activity will find out. You know, like, okay, you decided to go up $20,000. I decided to buy something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. It has nothing to do with the reality. Like, when you're buying a home,
Mm-hmm.
you just gotta, like, you know, the internet's just an idea of what things you're going for. Eventually, you really gotta hit the ground. Something could have gone down here, so a lot of people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if some did or didn't. I can't believe, I thought it was abandoned. It's open. No doubt about it. This is legitly open. Wanna stay here? Wanna get some bed bugs?
Not really.
There's all types of crap going on in this intersection. Those people were like totally scoping us out.
Turn left onto the ramp.
Truck, man. Look at this truck. Clear windshield, clear windshield. Clear windshield, clear windshield. Keep up on, keep up on, look at the truck bed bounce. Watch this truck. Keep up. Watch this truck bed. Look at that front tire. Keep up. Get next to him so I can see the truck bed bouncing. Like, what the crap? What is that? Like, the whole thing is like bouncing.